What do you think are the most important things that a beginner should learn and remember while starting to learn to play chess? Of course, recognizing the chess pieces, setting up the chess board, and basic rules for moving the pieces. But one more thing one should be familiar with is the chess terminology, that is, commonly used terms in the chess language. In this video, we are going to cover the top 30 beginner chess terms that we think every player should know before starting their chess journey. So let's start with these 30 must-know chess terms. Check. Check is a term when a player's king is attacked. If the king is in check, the player must find a way to stop the threat. They cannot just ignore it. In such a situation, the player must do one of these things. Capture the checking piece. Put a piece between the checking piece and the king. This only works if the checking piece is a long distance piece, that is bishop, rook or queen. Move the king to a square that is not threatened. If none of these works, then it is not a check but a checkmate. Checkmate, also called mate when a player's king is attacked and there is no way to escape that attack. Or simply put, the king is under attack and cannot get out of being captured. Giving a checkmate is the main goal in chess. A player who is checkmated loses the game. Mate. This is a shortened version of checkmate. It means a king has no chance to avoid capture. Advantage. This term defines the winning potential of a color. It is typically based on chess piece positions on the board. If one color appears to be winning the game, then that side is said to have a plus, pull, edge or an advantage. Attack. A coordinating attempt to aggressively gain an advantage. The main aim of the majority of the attacks is to checkmate the opponent's king. A carefully executed attack usually forces the opponent to sacrifice pieces as a defense or to accept weaknesses that lead to an advantage for an opponent's attack. Blockade. This term defines a scenario in which the pawn advance is prevented by placing a piece directly in front of the pawn. Rapid chess. Rapid formats to a game of chess where you and your opponent have only 20 to 30 minutes to make all your moves. Adjudication. It is the situation where an expert is called in to decide an unfinished game and declare a winner. This method is applied only when a game is unfinished and there is no adjournment. Adjournment. When a game remains unfinished more than the permissible time limits, the game is suspended for continuation after a brief interval. Battery. This term refers to a situation where you line up two similar moving pieces together, for instance a rook and a queen. Castling. When you move an unmoved king towards your rook over two steps and the rook moves to the position exactly next to your king's previous position, it is called castling. The move is simultaneous and peculiar to chess. Castling can happen only when both the king and the rook have not moved in the entire game and there is no intervening pieces between them. You cannot perform castling when your king is in check or is moving into a check. Desperado. For those who see the bigger picture in their games, desperado refers to the sacrifice made for a higher material or positional advantage. Fork refers to a double attack made by a player, usually involving a pawn or a knight. File. This is the vertical down and up row of squares. Both players' kings start the game on the same file. Rank. This refers to the horizontal right to left row of squares. All pawns start the game from the player's second rank. Open file. An open file is a file with no pawns of either color on it. Ply refers to a half move where only one player has made his or her move. When the opponent makes a counter move, it is called two ply and denotes one complete move. Promote. When you successfully manage to advance your pawn to the 8th rank, you can exchange it another piece such as the rook, knight, bishop or the queen on the promoted square. Repetition. When you reach a particular position in chess for 3 consecutive times, regardless of how you get there, it is repetition and is considered a draw. Resign. When you decide to call quits and say I resign by turning down your king, you officially lose the game. Stalemate. When you are not in check but cannot move in any direction either, you are in a situation that is called stalemate. This ends up in a draw. Touch move. When you touch a piece on the board, touch move dictates that you have to move it. Similarly, if you take your hand after placing a piece on the board and realize it was a mistake, you have to leave it there. Zugzwang. When the consequence of your moving is going to be bad but you still have to make a move, it is called Zugzwang. Development. This is the method of moving pieces from their original places to a position in which these pieces can better help the player. Fish. This refers to bad chess players. Open. This means a position in which pawns aren't blocking pieces from moving in certain parts or all of the board. This is the complete opposite of a closed position. Rating. This refers to the ability of a player, usually a numeric score. Sacrifice. Deliberately losing pieces to gain a potential advantage. Strategy. This term defines a usual thought process needed to plan the chess game. The strategy has more to do with moves that will be performed in the distant future than calculating the next move. Tactics. This is a term that refers to a short sequence of moves including threats and counter-threats. Tempo. A tempo is a turn or single move. When a player achieves a desired result in one fewer move, then a player is said to gain a tempo. Conversely, when a player takes one or more moves than necessary, the player is said to lose a tempo. So, these were some of the most important chess terminologies every beginner should understand. If you are looking to get started with chess or have just ventured into the game, this will be very helpful.